Not everyone says it with words, but the signs are everywhere. People who watch you too closely, people who avoid your gaze, situations where your presence changes the atmosphere. That's not by chance. There's something in you that unsettles, inspires, and reveals. And yes, they know. You don't make an effort to draw attention, yet it comes. In ordinary settings, your presence becomes a reference. In groups, your words carry weight. Even when you try to fade into the background, the light insists on breaking through. This happens because you carry something that cannot be taught, only felt. Being chosen has nothing to do with status. It has to do with a calling that comes from within. With the fact that you don't fit in certain places, can't tolerate empty conversations, can't ignore what others choose to accept. You were set apart. And that comes with a price. Today, you'll discover 9 concrete facts that explain why so many people look at you differently, judge you without reason, or simply don't know how to deal with you. And from now on, you won't need to hide anymore. You'll understand why, and finally accept they know who you are. I'm George, and before we continue, follow the channel, turn on notifications, and share this with someone who also needs to understand this. Fact 1. They feel an unexplainable dislike. And it's not about you. It's about them. You might not say anything. You might be polite, respectful, even discreet. And still, some people simply don't like you. They get uncomfortable with your presence, avoid conversation, make sideways comments, or show irritation that seems to have no reason. There was no argument, no provocation, and yet the rejection is there. Silent but constant. This confuses those who haven't yet understood the weight of their own identity. The first instinct is to doubt yourself. Am I being arrogant? Am I forcing something? Could I be bothering people without realizing it? But the truth is something else. The discomfort isn't caused by what you do, but by what you are, and by what you awaken in others just by existing. The presence of someone who carries firmness, purpose, and truth affects those who still live trapped in illusion. You become a mirror, and not everyone is ready to look into one. Those who live hiding behind masks or constantly trying to fit in feel exposed when they meet someone who needs no validation. This generates resistance, dislike, rejection, and in many cases even hostility. These reactions can come from co-workers, neighbors, longtime friends, and even family members, people who should support you but always seem to keep their distance. This happens because your presence, even without words, carries intensity. It forces others to feel, to reflect, to confront what they are not ready to change within themselves. Often, you'll be labeled as difficult, complicated, or stuck up. This is just a way for them to lessen the discomfort your essence causes. It's easier to criticize than to admit that your light is illuminating an inner space they'd rather keep in darkness. Unexplainable dislike is clear proof that you've already been noticed, even if no one says it out loud. When your soul vibrates on a different frequency, those still on autopilot react. And those reactions aren't a mistake, they're confirmation. Keep being who you are, even if it doesn't please everyone. Not everyone is ready for the light you carry. Fact 2. You attract looks wherever you go, even without trying. There's a kind of presence that doesn't need to raise its voice. It doesn't impose itself. It doesn't seek attention. Yet it changes the atmosphere. And when you carry that kind of presence, eyes follow you, even when you try to go unnoticed. You walk into a room and without saying a word, you feel the eyes following you. And that's not imagination. It's perception. It's not about beauty. It's not about what you wear. It's not about planned charisma. It's something deeper. Your energy vibrates on a frequency that many can't explain but immediately perceive. Some look with respect, others with curiosity, and some with silent discomfort, as if facing something they can't quite define. That magnetism is natural in people who don't live by appearances. You don't need to seek attention. Attention finds you, because you carry truth. And in a world where almost everything is superficial, those with depth naturally stand out. People's gaze is the silent response to something you transmit effortlessly. But this isn't always comfortable. Being constantly observed can be exhausting. It can make you feel judged, as if you're being evaluated all the time. And in a way, you are, because your presence makes noise in the silence. And those who feel it react, even if they can't explain why. The chosen one doesn't carry a manual. They don't need to say who they are. Their way of walking, expressing themselves, existing. It all carries a message. More sensitive people pick up on that. Some get closer, wanting to understand. Others pull away, trying to protect themselves from what they feel. But in every case, something in you has been noticed, recorded. And that means something. Being constantly watched can make you question yourself. But it's important to remember, the intensity of your presence reflects your authenticity. And those who are authentic in a world of copies will always be seen as exceptions. You don't need to try. You just need to be. Accept the glances as confirmation. They show that, even unintentionally, you awaken something in others. And awakening sometimes hurts, but it's necessary. The chosen one isn't seen because they promote themselves. They are seen because they carry a glow that can't be ignored. Fact 3. People imitate you, even without realizing it. Have you ever noticed that, after spending some time with you, certain people start changing subtly? They begin using the same words, getting interested in the same topics, repeating gestures that only you used to do. And what seemed like coincidence starts happening repeatedly. It's not ego, it's perception. You're being imitated. This happens because authenticity has a magnetic effect. In a world full of people trying to be someone, when a person appears who simply is, they stand out. And more than that, they become a reference, even without asking for it, even without wanting it. And in your case, that's inevitable. Your way of living, thinking, and standing in life inspires those around you. Many, even unconsciously, try to absorb that way of being. They try to replicate your strength, your confidence, your perspective. Some copy with admiration, others with disguised envy. But they're all saying the same thing. You've become a mirror. The problem is, not everyone is ready for what they try to copy. Some want the glow, but couldn't endure the process. They want clarity, but wouldn't face the doubts you've faced. They want firmness, but haven't lived through the depths that taught you to be strong. That's why, even when they imitate, they can never carry what you carry. Your essence isn't in what you do. It's in how you do it, in the origin, in the journey, in the story behind your gaze. And that can't be copied. It can only be built. Those who try to copy without having lived it end up creating a weak version of something that was born true. You might feel uncomfortable with this. You might think people are feeding off your energy, using your essence as a shortcut, trying to benefit from what you've built. And in part, that may be true. But it doesn't diminish who you are. In fact, it reinforces it. Because people only imitate what has value. Keep being yourself, even if they copy you, even if they distort it, even if they don't understand it. Your journey is yours, and it has already placed you in a position where many want to arrive, but few are willing to pay the price. The true chosen one doesn't seek followers. They simply walk, and by walking, transform the environment around them. Fact 4. They bombard you with questions, even though they don't know what they're looking for. Have you noticed how some people, even without closeness, start asking you questions about personal matters, choices you've made, or beliefs you hold? Sometimes directly, sometimes under a guise of curiosity. And the more confidently you answer, the more questions appear. But the strange thing is, many of these people don't really want your answers. They want to understand why you are the way you are. What truly awakens this response isn't the content of your answers. It's your way of thinking. It's the clarity in your words. It's the fact that you don't waver when you speak about what you believe. That causes a kind of restlessness in those still full of doubts, clinging to borrowed certainties, trying to fit into what others say is right. Many try to understand how you maintain your integrity under pressure, why you don't need approval to keep going, what makes you keep walking even when you're alone. Their unease isn't about you. It's about what you represent, freedom. And freedom frightens those still imprisoned. Your way of thinking isn't standard. You don't settle for shallow explanations. You don't repeat what you hear. You question it. And that confuses those living on autopilot. That's why when they hear you speak, many feel there's something different there. But since they don't know what it is, they start trying to decipher it through questions. This can also come with a tone of challenge. People trying to provoke you, corner you, hoping you'll stumble or lose your composure. But the true chosen one doesn't answer to defend themselves. They answer to bring clarity, when it's worth it. And they stay silent when they sense the question isn't genuine, but just an attempt to weaken their stability. These constant, sometimes random questions are yet another sign that you're being recognized as someone who lives differently, someone who doesn't follow the norm. And that naturally catches the attention of those who are still uncertain of their own path. Don't get irritated by the questions. Not all deserve answers, but they all confirm one thing. Even without understanding it, people know you carry something that challenges them. And that alone is enough to spark questions that don't always have answers. Because what they truly want to understand is your essence. Fact 5. Some people get visibly nervous around you, and they don't know why you talk to someone and notice their restlessness. Fidgeting hands, averted gazes, changes in posture. Sometimes, the person starts to stutter, tries to end the conversation quickly, or avoids your presence altogether, and all of that happens without you having done a single thing wrong. On the contrary, you were kind, attentive, respectful, but something in the air exposes a discomfort. This kind of reaction has nothing to do with the content of the conversation. It's not about words, tone, or appearance. It's about the energy you radiate. The chosen one carries a presence that impacts the environment, and not everyone can remain stable in front of that. The truth is, your energy is intense. Your vibration stirs those who are used to living on the surface. Your firmness unsettles those still trying to hold up their own insecurities. Your presence reveals what many try to hide, even from themselves. And that revelation doesn't need to be verbal. It occurs on the subtle level, where everything vibrates before it becomes visible. Many don't understand why they feel that way around you. Some think you're intimidating. Others say you look too deeply, or that there's something about your way. But what there really is coherence between who you are inside and what you show outside. And that's rare. And when something is rare, it makes an impact. People who live behind masks feel threatened by those who live in truth. Even if you're silent, even if you impose nothing. The mere fact that you're authentic already presses against others' illusions. And those who don't yet have the inner structure to deal with, that respond with fear, nervousness, avoidance. It's common for them to test you, to create arguments, look for flaws, point out mistakes. These are unconscious defense mechanisms. It's as if by finding a weakness in you, they could justify the discomfort they feel. But the true chosen one doesn't need to prove anything. They know they are not here to please. They're here to fulfill a calling. And that requires knowing how to handle such reactions without losing yourself. Not everyone will be able to stay by your side. And that's okay. The path of the chosen one is not comfortable, neither for the one who walks it nor for those who witness it. But it's a necessary path. And the more you remain faithful to your essence, the more your presence will impact, positively or not. The nervousness you provoke is just another reflection of the intensity of your truth. Fact 6. People seek your validation, even without realizing it. You may notice that many people come to you when they need to make important decisions. They ask for your opinion, share secrets, or open up about personal dilemmas. Some do it directly, as if seeking advice. Others casually drop topics, hoping you'll say something that confirms what they already wanted to hear. In every case, there's a silent search, validation. This doesn't happen by chance. People sense, even unconsciously, that you see what they can't see, that you access perspectives beyond the obvious, and that builds trust. You become a kind of informal guide, without asking, without trying. Your clear vision, your way of observing life, your intuition, all of it creates a sense of safety for those who are lost. And without realizing it, you become an emotional, spiritual, or even practical point of support. But that can become a trap if you're not aware of the role you're taking on. Not everyone wants to grow. Some just want someone to pacify them. Your opinion becomes a crutch for those who haven't learned to trust themselves. That's why you must remember. You can inspire, but you're not responsible for others' choices. The weight of decisions must remain with the one who makes them. Even so, the fact that so many people seek your validation is further proof that your presence holds natural authority. And that can't be taught, trained, or bought. It is earned by living with integrity, by being an example even when no one is watching, by standing firm even amid uncertainty. But with that recognition comes the need for boundaries. The chosen one isn't here to carry others' burdens, but to light the way. You are a guide, not a substitute for someone else's compass. Teach people to listen to themselves, to perceive, to awaken. Your words have value, yes, but your mission is to awaken consciousness, not to hand out ready-made answers. Acknowledge the impact you have and use it wisely, because someone who validates others too much can end up erasing themselves. You weren't chosen to be everyone's emotional support system. You were chosen to show there's another way to live, more aligned, more lucid, more truthful. And the mere fact that they seek you out for your opinion already shows they know you see farther, even if they won't admit it, even if they don't always follow your advice. The truth is, your clarity both unsettles and guides, and that's why so many turn to you when they're lost. It's not luck, it's spiritual authority. Fact 7. They watch your failures more than your victories. Not everyone who follows your journey is rooting for your success. In fact, you'll notice that more people pay attention to your stumbles than to your progress. When you achieve something, silence fills the room. Few truly celebrate it. But at the first sign of a mistake, even a small one, eyes turn sharply toward you. Comments appear, subtle criticisms arise, and many suddenly seem comfortable. The truth is that the chosen one provokes intense reactions without even trying. Your light unsettles, your persistence challenges, and your success exposes the cowardice of those who never even tried. That's why, when you fall, those people feel permitted to stay as they are. You've become for them the standard they secretly hope to see fall. But make no mistake, even when they try to minimize your path, they're confirming your impact. No one chases the irrelevant. No one roots against someone who poses no threat. The mere fact that they talk about you shows that you've become the emotional focus of people who lacked the courage to build their own story. The failure of the chosen one is not the end. It's part of the path. Every fall carries a lesson that strengthens, not erases. And the more you learn, the more dangerous you become to the complacent, because you get up stronger, clearer, more aware. Those watching your failures, waiting for your defeat, don't understand that you were molded to continue. The true chosen one knows the journey isn't about winning all the time, but about moving forward when many would have stopped. Your failures don't expose you, they prepare you. And ironically, even those rooting against you are helping you, because every attempt to bring you down turns into fuel. The more they watch your stumbles, the more they forget to look at their own. And in the end, only one of you will be evolving. Fact 8. You feel out of place where most people feel comfortable. There are places everyone loves to be, except you. Environments that seem pleasant to others, but feel empty to you. Ordinary conversations bore you. Shallowness exhausts you. And no matter how much you try to interact, you always feel out of rhythm, out of sync, like you're somewhere you were never meant to belong. This discomfort isn't arrogance. It's not needless isolation. It's a clear sign that your soul can no longer feed on what's shallow. While many live comfortably inside the bubble of distraction, repetition, and appearance, you seek depth. You want purpose. You want truth. And where that doesn't exist, your energy simply doesn't fit. You might try to force it, smile, participate, listen. But inside, something always reveals, this place isn't for me. It's not about the physical space. It's about the energy field. The environment drains you instead of nourishing you. And that's not a problem. It's a symptom of evolution. Those who are called to live with greater awareness can no longer remain where falseness is disguised as harmony. You sense when a conversation is empty, a laugh is forced, or a connection is merely for interest. And that unsettles people. Because your presence carries silence, and the silence of the chosen one exposes the inner noise of those living on the surface. That feeling of not belonging is actually a form of protection. You're being kept from places that could weaken, distract, or pull you down. You're not meant to go where everyone else goes, but where few have the courage to walk. And that journey begins when you stop trying to fit into places you've already outgrown. To accept being out of place is to accept that you've been called to something unique. Your journey is custom-made. Not everyone will understand. Not everyone will come with you. And that's okay. Your growth requires silence, focus, and presence, even if that means distance. You're not isolating. You're cleansing, preserving your frequency so you can keep hearing divine direction. And it's precisely because you don't belong everywhere that you're being prepared for where you truly do, where there will be alignment, not effort. Fact 9. Nothing can erase your essence, even when they try to copy you. Throughout your journey, you've probably noticed that many people try to imitate you. They copy your way of speaking, your style, your ideas, even your personal choices. At first, it may seem like admiration, but when it keeps happening, it starts to bother you. You ask yourself, are they using me? Why do they want to be like me? The answer lies in what you carry. Your originality both unsettles and fascinates. In a world full of people trying to please, follow trends, and pretend to be what they're not, someone like you appears. Someone who doesn't need a manual to exist, who simply lives, with truth, with intensity, with presence, that generates desire, because what you have can't be bought, nor learned from courses. It's the fruit of pain that matured you, experiences that shaped you, and decisions that strengthened you. Your essence isn't an act, it's a construction, and that's why it can't be copied. Even if they try, they'll never carry your energy. Because your authenticity doesn't reside in form, it resides in source. It's born from within, from something that can't be faked. And the more they try to imitate, the clearer the differences become. Don't be bothered by it. Imitation is proof of influence. And influence comes from solid identity. The true chosen one doesn't need to defend themselves. They simply move forward, with head held high, soul clean, because they know no reflection, no matter how precise, can replace the light of a flame born to truly shine. Being copied doesn't diminish your value. It confirms your significance. But always remember this: the chosen one doesn't shape themselves to inspire. They inspire precisely because they refuse to shape themselves. And that's why, even when they try to replicate you, no one will ever truly be you. Being chosen is not about status. It's about burden. It's about noticing what others ignore and continuing even when no one understands. If you recognized yourself in any of these signs, know this: it's not an illusion. It's confirmation. You carry something the world is still learning to see. Now tell me, which of these facts spoke to you the most? Comment below. Your experience may awaken someone who is still trying to understand their own path.